Welcome back and thanks for joining me on a garden episode. I have been busy this week potting up plants, separating ones I need to give to other family members, so it's been quite busy. Join me this week. I will take you along and show you what is happening in the indoor garden, my plans for the outdoor garden now that it's warming up. I'm getting very excited for Garden 2022. I'm back outside and I am prepping this week for where I plan to put grow bags for the sweet potatoes, and around that I'm going to put sunflowers. I've ran out of cardboard, so what I've put is just regular tarp. I've put it down over here to kill all the greenery that's come up, and then I'm going to sow the seeds. So I'm about a month away from when the sunflowers are going to come out, so I figured I'd do this now before I had too much greenery to deal with down on the ground here. Swinging over here. This is where the garlic is, and it's growing. Well, some of it is growing. The ones in the back look really good. The ones up in the front, kind of iffy, and I'm gonna definitely cover these this time. We're expecting 2 consecutive days for the nights to be under 30, and since they are coming back, I don't want to stunt them again. So I intend to cover the garlic. I said carrots because I have some carrot sprouts coming up over here. So those were successful. Down there by the blueberries, or in part of the berry patch, I've begun to set up for covering them. I'm gonna wait until after the flowers start showing that they're going to turn into fruit. That way all the pollinators can get in, and then cover them up with some fabric so that the birds then don't eat the fruit. In these 2 beds here, I have planted onions and shallots. So I have a variety of yellow onions and a variety of red onions that I've planted out here, which I also intend to cover for the cold snap that we're going to get. Over here, my these are the turnips. My turnips have come up and I thinned them out, and then I'm going to cover them. Last year when I planted them in the fall, there were so many aphids on them, and I got a late start with preparing them for the aphid invasion. So this year I'm just going to cover them from small seedlings. I have about 20 plants that I left in there. I don't need them to get too big, but I have about 20 plants in there that I want to protect. And then over here, same thing. This holds the radish, the first wave of radish, and I've got that covered up as well. Inside the cold frame, I've got some basil that sprouted and some cilantro that sprouted. I think the seed mix was the problem here. It stayed too dry, so most of the other stuff didn't sprout. What I'm really concerned about is the oregano and the thyme. If they don't sprout or do anything, I'm just going to go to the local nursery and purchase already started transplants. This level, I have what is the starts that I have put into the first and the second stage. So back here, I have the ones that are still connected to the potato that I have put in the soil. I've got stage 2 where I put them in the water, and these I just did today to have them root. And then down here, I have the ones that have rooted, and I have put them into soil. I have them separated. The ones that are orange sweet potatoes have the O, the purple don't have anything. And then the last and final stage with the sweet potatoes is putting them into the soil outside. So there's basically like 3 steps that I go. Back here in this level, under the light, I have my tomato starts. I had to do a second round of tomato starts because the first round, the soil stayed too dry, so nothing was sprouting. Around 7 days, I realized nothing was gonna come up. So I restarted them, and I just started them on Monday. And just about all of them have re-sprouted again, which is good. I'm glad I caught the issue early and realized what was going on. But I have all my different varieties of tomatoes plus ground cherries that are just starting to break the soil. Down here, a mix of things. I have a rosemary that I'm going to be giving to a friend. I have a bunch of peppers down here, and if I didn't mention it, I have 6 or 7 slips or suckers that I took off the pineapples, and I put in here as well to begin the process of rooting them out. The onions are no longer in here, they're outside in the garden. They've already, and we're expecting a couple nights of frost, so I actually did have to cover them up. But the onions are out, the lettuce is out, and what I'll be planting next will be some sunflowers I've already. Back here, I have the 4 overwintered peppers that did survive. They're growing some greenery. They actually tried to grow some fruit, which I did pluck those off because I felt it was too soon for them to be trying to fruit. And then I have my pineapples. I've got 3 over here and 1 over here. And what I tried to do is put the ones that look the strongest out here with the stronger light. This one had a little bit of damage and the leaves, you could tell, were green, but it's doing better now. And I took all the suckers that I found on any of my pineapples and tried to root them out to see if I could double my harvest. Over here are the other remaining pineapples. So this pineapple back here had about 5 suckers on it. So I thought it was just a really big and really big and lush plant, and turns out it had a bunch of suckers. But this is the last remaining 3, and then the corn plant, which I also took the sucker off of it to see if it would root. I've had it for about a month now. It's not as vibrantly green as it was, but I expect it to have some type of shock. But it's alive and it looks to be healthy, so we're gonna continue with it. Over here, I've got my flowers that I've planted. So I did some nasturtium, some marigold, and some zinnia. There's 2 in each row, and I just planted these about 3 days ago. I think these are marigold breaking the soil. I can never be too sure sometimes because I use my own compost, and sometimes I'll have seeds of things from the previous year that'll sprout. So once some more marigold come up, I'll know if these are. But I've got 2 kinds of marigold. I've got the yellow and red, and then I have orange planted here. And then I have a mix of nasturtium, and the zinnia are yellow. And finally over here, this is my pile of things that I don't want to get rid of because I want to see if they actually will sprout, but I do believe they're not going to sprout. These are the seeds that I put in the mix that I felt was dry, and also the turmeric. And it doesn't look like the turmeric is sprouting, but this seed mix has been going for about a week and a half, and I only had 1 of these sprout. And I just put water on these yesterday, and the water just seems to go right through it. Like, it doesn't hold water at all. And that's what I noticed was happening, and where I was like, I probably should replant. And considering these have a good week on the other ones and nothing has happened, and just about all except for 1 has sprouted, it was definitely a good move on my part. It's the ginger that I planted now probably about a month ago, and I still haven't had any sprouts. I'm actually going to take this tray out now and see what we have going on in the soil. I forget how many plants I actually put in here, but let's see. look, I have a crown growing from the ginger. So I'm gonna leave this one in here. That's good news. But it's just slow going with these in here. I don't know why they're so much slower than the ones that I started back in October. Oh, yep, look. This one has two. One here and one here, and some roots. This is great, great news. Two more here and here. A little bit of root. Mother had left it going for a very long time before she saw anything happening with the turmeric. And for all the pieces that I have in here, I just need to learn to be patient when it comes to the turmeric, because it is not doing anything, but it's not rotting. So we're just gonna put it back in here, push it back down, and hope that I get some more pieces. And that concludes the garden update for this week. As always, thanks for watching to the end. I hope you've enjoyed the content.